Welcome to the Underrepresented in Tech podcast, where we talk about issues in underrepresentation and have difficult conversations. Underrepresented in Tech is a free database with the goal of helping people find new opportunities in WordPress and tech. Hi, Samah.
Hi, Michelle.
And hi, everybody who's listening to us.
I think everyone is good. I should
Okay,
work
enough
with
singing.
in my voice.
We sing to each other, and even if I'm having a bad day, as soon as I do my little hi Samah, it makes me feel good and I start to smile. And so it's a good thing for sure. Now, I know some people listen to the podcast and aren't watching the podcast, but today, okay, first of all, I have a hat on because it's a very bad hair day, but I'm also wearing a scarf, and I'm going to say it and you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a keffiyeh.
Goofy, good for you. That's
Keffiyeh,
good.
okay.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a keffiyeh is, why don't you explain it? Because I know there's cultural significance in the pattern and everything else.
Yeah, keffiyeh, it's a Palestinian scarf. It's present olive tree and a lot of symbols in it. I'm not gonna go in a lot of details in it, but it's something you can wear and you can know like if you're coming from Middle East, supporting Palestinian, whatever, and it is everyone can wear it. If even you're Palestinian or from Middle East, Arabs, African, Asian, all of whatever you are around the world, everyone can wear it without any restrictions.
Right. And before I bought one to be supportive, and I bought it from a Palestinian online store so that I was not just paying somebody in the United States to make them, kind of thing. I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that the money was going someplace that would actually support the community. But before I ever thought to wear it, I asked you, is it okay for me to wear this as a white woman in the United States? And you said, absolutely. We love the support. Showing your support is something that's very important. Which brought me to other questions, which are, what is cultural appropriation? What is cultural support or support of community? And what is just okay? It doesn't matter, right? So that we wear things that are from different parts of the world. Like, I'm wearing a black hat today. If I tipped it to one side, it could almost be a beret. I do have several berets in in my hat collection. It is not a cultural appropriation for me to wear a beret. It's just not. It's a French hat, but I can wear a beret. I could wear a cowboy hat, but I'm not from the South United States, where cowboy hats were part of necessity from sun and heat and all of those things. But I could wear a cowboy hat, and that is not cultural appropriation either. However, if I wanted to wear my hair in cornrows or bantu knots or wear an afro, that would be considered cultural appropriation of black hair. And so I can wear certain braids, and it's not cultural appropriation, but to wear my hair in cornrows specifically, excuse me, and you might remember probably 10 years ago now, Adele, the singer, wore Bantu knots in her hair when she was in Jamaica, and she was blasted all over the internet for cultural appropriation as a white woman. And so I wanted to talk to you today about different ideas. What is cultural appropriation? What is not? What is seen as just beautiful dress that's and garments and accessories that you can wear around the world with no fear of appropriation, and what things are actually sacred to communities and should only be worn or used by those communities. And so I thought that would be, with my keffiyeh today, would be something that would be kind of cool to talk about. So it is 80 oh, it's going to get up to like 75, 80 degrees here today. So this is probably only through the morning. And as it gets a
Yeah.
little warmer later, I will probably have to take it off. But I love it, and I was excited to wear it with you today. So what are some of your thoughts? And I will drink my coffee and stop talking for a minute.
My thought is like, of course, the cultural appropriation. It's like people need to little bit to understand it. Of course, like when wearing a keffiyeh or wearing a headscarf as a Muslim woman or as a Jewish woman, because also Jewish women also wear the scarf. The way to put it, of course, I believe it is more about understanding the history, the culture behind it, and respecting. Of course, when we're talking about the African or the Black history of slavery or of the racism they are suffering. And you need to understand and respect it. And if it's also, I don't know, every time we're involving and we're more getting to know, understanding each other culture, appreciated it in the right way more and more. And as you said, like sometimes it's okay to ask those questions, especially someone from the culture. Like, as an example, I love the African scarf duku, like
Hmm.
the way they put it. And I know it is African women take a lot of pride, especially if you're in Senegal, Nigeria,
Hmm.
Kenya, and I love the way they put it, the colorful, even in Congo. I found it very
Yeah,
beautiful.
it is.
But I know they don't mind. Asked a couple of women that it's mind that there's a way to put it. I found it very beautiful, but it's always nice to ask if I did wear it, and of course you need to ask behind it why you do it like this, or of course why you're wearing it in that way to get understand for it, and also at the same time. Um, Even about food, because people thinking it's only about the looks, but even
Yeah.
like eating food or selling food for another culture without give them the credit or understanding why that food was made or how it's made, or then that's something like it's not acceptable. I don't know,
Mhm.
especially it's come to food.
For
My belief.
food especially.
No, it's understanding the culture and
Hmm.
why. Like Palestinian, this is the sign of our struggle, fight for the freedom. It's also in the old time people used to wear it. All the olives sign on it. There's a lot of symbols in it,
Hmm.
and to support Palestinian you to wear it. It is okay, but also sometimes I don't think it will be nice if you wear it as a tank top.
Right.
I will find the scarf like, it's a little bit weird. Of course, there is a designer making dresses and stuff, but the scarf itself, it's like should be, you know, giving more this like fighting for freedom, the revolution, the struggle. It's not to be tank top. I don't like
Right.
it tank top. So yeah, and also I don't know, just asking and understanding the culture because most of people doing it because they think they're looking cool and not
Mhm.
because they understand the culture behind it.
Right. There's a big difference between appropriate and
Yeah.
appropriation, for sure. I was thinking about the duku, like you were saying, you think it's, and you've been to Africa. Your husband has worked in there, and you've been to visit him, in the different African countries, I should say. I know that Africa's
Yeah.
not a country. I do know this. It's a
Of
continent,
course you do.
but but there are so many countries in
Yeah.
Africa, and they all have their own deep-rooted history,
Yeah.
and the duku in one country may be something different in another country and how they wear it and how they use it and the
Yeah.
dashiki and
Yeah.
the patterns and the fabrics and all of that. All of that to say that yes, we our research says that you're as any woman is allowed to wear, any person is allowed to wear duku, and it is not appropriation. However, if let's say Vogue or Elle or one of those fashion magazines, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat, were to put six white women
Yeah.
in a desert photo, right? Like it looks like a desert or whatever, and they're wearing dashiki and duku, but they're only white women in the picture, that would
I
be wrong. Because
yeah.
then you are removing any history and tie to the ethnicity of those peoples by just appropriating it for your photo shoot. So, can you, Sama or me, wear a duku? Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Could I use it inappropriately? It would be inappropriate to do that, what I was just talking about. So there's nuance to everything as well. I think it is so beautiful, the saris in India. And I think it's just like I wish I still had it. My father, when I was 12 or 13, went to India and he brought me back a sari cloth. And that, I mean, I'm 56 now. I have no idea where that ended up in the different moves of our family and things like that. It certainly didn't go to college with me. And then when I moved out on my own, it was nowhere to be found. It was so beautiful, and I wish I still had it. Um, and so maybe next year in Mumbai, I will buy a sari because my research shows that it is not inappropriate for a white woman to wear a sari in certain cultural situations. So were I to go to an Indian wedding, Absolutely, I could wear the sari. I mean, I could wear it around day to day too, but that would just
Yeah.
be a little odd because very few of my Indian friends outside of India ever wear a sari except in, very for special occasions. But it's not inappropriate for me to do that. It's not inappropriate for me to wear braids, but it is inappropriate for me to wear box braids or bantu knots and those kinds of things. And so, if you are ever in doubt, it's very easy to Google or chat GPT those kinds of things. I wondered about wearing hijab. So very long ago, probably 15 years ago, there was a lot of um, racist things happening in the United States and beyond to women who are wearing hijab. And I reached out to some of my Muslim friends that were in my doctoral program with me then, and I said, I want to show my solidarity with you. Would it be appropriate for me to wear hijab to show my solidarity? And my friend Miriam said to me, it's not inappropriate, but we don't want you to do it because we don't want you to be shot or harassed or that by showing my solidarity they didn't want me to fall under the same racism that they were experiencing, so they weren't banning me from doing it, but they were watching out for my benefit and my health. And my research today shows that anybody can wear hijab. It's not inappropriate to do that. But listen to your friends also. So like I could wear hijab, but my friends say, I don't want you to deal with the same kinds of problems that we deal with. So only do that if you truly feel led to, not because you just want to show your solidarity to us. So there's so many different nuances and different ways that we can look at appropriation. You know, I can't remember if I said it on the show or if we said it beforehand, but I think it was beforehand where um, the box braids that people tend to wear. First of all, it's a beautiful hairstyle. My daughter wears them often. She is a black woman, and so she is not culturally inappropriate for her to wear braids. Um, it was mainstreamed in the 1970s in a movie called 10. A white actress named Bo Derek had the box braids with the beads and everything on the end in a white bathing suit running down the beach, and the braids are swinging and everything. And that's like women looked at that and said, "Oh, that's pretty. I want to get my hair done like that too." It is inappropriate for a
Yeah.
white woman to wear box braids, especially especially in the United States. As I've often said, I can only speak from my own personal experience in here, but my research also says that around the world we need to be we need to act appropriately and not appropriate things. Um, because of how the tradition has arisen and what box braids mean to the Black community up through slavery, up through all the different African nations as well. Um, Natural hairstyles like afro, box braids, cornrows, all of that is only appropriate for Black women to wear. And so for me to do that is inappropriate. However, I did see lots of activity on TikTok over the last year where people were saying, well, I'm a white woman and I wear box braids because Vikings wore box braids and I can trace my
Yeah, those
history
people.
back to the Vikings. But if you do your true research, Vikings wearing box braids is very Hollywood and it's not very historical. And so before you claim anything in your history as giving you the appropriate version of wearing something that may not actually be, do your research. Google is free. Vikings wear braids, absolutely. Scandinavians, braids are a thing, absolutely. Box
Yeah.
braids, cornrows, no. Braids, yes. So my grandmother was Swedish. I loved wearing braids as a kid, and I would just wrap them one time over the top of my head. I'll give you the photo, Samah. You can put it in the show notes if people want to see little
Yes,
Michelle with
please.
the braids on her head, crooked smile, crooked glasses, and I was wearing my favorite sweater, but it has like this ruffle at the top and a string. It looks like somebody put me in a bag and tied it shut around my neck. I will give you the photo. Um, I was cute, darn it, but this photo is maybe not my best. But I
Yes.
but that but that wearing of braids, given my Swedish background, my history through my grandmother, absolutely appropriate. And even if you're not Swedish, that braid is appropriate. Um,
Yeah.
You can do fishtail braids. You can do, just three-strand braids. You can do French braids. All of that is appropriate. It's when you veer into the box braids, cornrows, etc., that it becomes inappropriate for a white woman to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also sometimes it also makes me laugh those videos. Like I once I did the DNA test, I am like almost 18% North African and 1.7 Nigerian. I I don't have the honor to call myself African. I wish then I would be super cool, but the thing is like I found that sometimes the people they don't want to make the effort, they don't want to Google it. It also it's happened um about there's traditional or holiday in the Netherlands. I don't like it. People hear me from the Netherlands called Santa Claus. They paint your face black. It's
Oh yeah.
traditional. And because you're coming out from the chimney, but also, and then they said like, oh, but the kids got this is like going a little bit sometimes if
Like
you look at
blackface.
culture, yeah, if you look a little bit in the culture and when and why the white people was painting themselves black to present black people on the theater on the movie theater because they were not this is a lot of history behind it, a lot of suffering, a lot of
Hmm.
also people need to fight for their place and still people like find it I know it's funny we used to do it it's no but I think and maybe I'm going now to the other side to the extreme but also understanding the history also give you like yeah I want to do it like this or I want to do it like that and I understand as you say the French braids or the French hat um there's no of course there's history behind it who invented it and why they put it la 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 but also at the same time sadly other cultures the history was not very beautiful and
Right.
sunny and flowery and
Hmm.
positive. And other people there, the simple of wearing the scarf, it was meaning something. And the simple of braiding your hair, it was meaning something. To
Hmm.
eat the specific food in that specific day, it's still a story of a whole nation. And sometimes just understanding it before
Yeah.
copying it, it can means a lot for the people who really went to a lot to make sure it could happen.
At
And
the base of it, it's about the power dynamic. So
definitely,
if the culture that you are wanting to take hairstyles or clothing from is from a repressed culture, and you are from the culture that had the power, and the other culture was powerless or less powerful, as in American slavery,
yeah,
then it is absolutely appropriation. And the blackface minstrels were actually going further and making fun of. So the blackface culture that came from the South in the United States, at the turn of the century and earlier than that, like the time of the Civil War and then into the probably 30s and 40s of the United States, um, was all about using that blackface not to raise up a culture, but to keep it
yeah,
repressed and keep it down.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
and also
I cut you off.
no, 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 thanks. No, you can all the time cut me off anytime. And also at the same time, copying someone with the braids and everything, we as I don't want to say we, I'm not white. The discrimination against the people going through, as you said, wearing a veil. Sometimes wearing a veil immediately put a specific discrimination against you. Having your going African people different style, the way they dressing, immediately discrimination, racism against them. When you're copying that, and of course nobody will do the same react as they do it with other people because also the ads in TV in media and everywhere all the time before the last 5 7 years all the time the beautiful hair is the
Hmm.
silky blondie hair it's the
Right.
soft hair it was never the curly hair or
The
the
textured.
African the textured hair the African it was never even products like it was you don't see them in normal in TV and media like oh this is a
Right.
perfect hair cream for your curls or this is really good shampoo for your scalp or whatever it
Hmm.
was always the beautiful blonde silky hair
Yeah.
and ignoring the discrimination uh, uh, black people get for their hairstyle or for the way they dress, or even people, Muslim people, or even Indian, the way from the sari, whatever. If you don't really understand the history, like, and ignoring it and just like, oh, because yeah, I want to do it because it's cool, I think it's a little bit sad to do it. And he said,
Yeah.
use Google, ask. I'm
Ask,
pretty
yeah.
sure you ask people, ask Google, ask
Eh,
ChatGPT now. We can do that also.
Yes. And I will go a little bit further and say, even when it's appropriate, make sure that where you're buying articles of clothing
Um,
and hair salves and all of those things, right? So, like I said, when I bought the scarf, I made sure I wasn't just paying some factory in Minnesota, to make the scarf, that the money was actually going through to somebody. So, I mean, well, so Amazon is a marketplace now. It isn't just everything from Amazon. And so the marketplace that I bought this through, I verified was a Palestinian organization because I wanted to make sure that if I bought money to wear something in support of that culture, that the money was going to that culture as well. I
yeah.
probably could have bought it outside of Amazon and made sure that it was more than that. And next time I will, because I only just thought of that, but I was like, Amazon's my go-to, which is terrible, I know. But there we are. But at least I did my research, made sure that the money that was being spent was going to the right culture, so, and the right community. So all
Uh,
that to say, show your support, right? I'm sorry, what were
yeah,
you
yeah.
gonna say?
Yeah, I want to say the key is for appreciation is respect, permission, and get context, and honor the culture, and
Yes.
understand it, and celebrate it also, because uh, uh, behind this history, sometimes a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. But people now, they want to celebrate who they became, the culture, the whole nation, the whole race.
Hmm.
From it. So yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
I
want.
was so one of the articles that I read, I'll just bring this up really quickly too, is um in the United States here, and especially in the southern states, which tend to be a little more racist than some of the northern. There's a divide between liberal and conservative, and not that it doesn't permeate, but yeah, blue states tend to be a little more understanding, which is I live in New York, so we don't tell children how they have to wear their hair or how they can't wear their hair. But we've had lawsuits in the United States, specifically in Texas, where a young gentleman was being told he had to cut off his dreadlocks, which I think we just call locks now, but the article did refer to them as dreadlocks, but had to cut off his locks or he would be expelled from school because it was an inappropriate hairstyle for school.
Oh,
Well, who's to say what's inappropriate when that's his culture? He was a black man, and he should be allowed. Well, boy, but you know what I'm saying. He's black culture.
yeah.
He was appropriately wearing locks, and so for the school district to tell him he couldn't, or for a school district to tell um, a girl that she can't wear her natural hair. She has to braid or she has to cut it short because, what we perceive as an afro, natural women's black hair, is inappropriate for school, is inappropriate to tell them that. And so there have been lawsuits. There have been lawsuits in workplaces when a workplace tells a woman that she can't wear her natural hair, that she has to tame it, or, other terms like that. And so I want to see things change. I want to see, even though it was always inappropriate, it will always be inappropriate for me to wear those styles. I want to see those styles accepted for the cultures that have the right to wear them, because that's the opposite effect, right? So, if I can't wear it, nobody can wear it. That's what I'm hearing in some of these things. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. And so I just think we need to keep all of it in mind and allow cultures to continue with their own cultural history and to bring that forward into their future generations, and yet let it still be inappropriate for me to do it for them or on their behalf or steal that from their culture.
Yeah, I think at the end it as just understanding and celebrating and ask permission and just and go for it, and
Yes.
also understanding it's more important. It's just not like copy paste and without getting the whole story behind it. It's
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for letting me have this conversation today. I thought it was just a good one for you and I to have. I did have a dream. Before I was falling asleep the other day, I did have like thoughts of like a really good idea for our next our next topic, and I said I should wake up and I should write it down on my phone so I don't forget or text you. And then I was like, nah, I'll remember it in the morning, but I didn't remember it in the morning. And so I'll have to see if I can remember that one later.
Next
But then,
time, just a voice
yeah,
message me.
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I was like, it was dark. I was in my room. I was starting to fall asleep. I'm like, nah, I'll remember it. Never trust that. Never trust. I remembered that I had an idea, but not what the idea was. So maybe that'll come back.
And when I will bring you another keffiyeh when I see you in WordCamp Europe.
Oh, I would love that.
Getting closer. So
I
yeah,
know.
that's
I'll
awesome.
see you in what, 2 weeks? I think 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yes.
3 weeks.
Yay, two
I
weeks.
will
Yeah.
see you there. So very good. Well, thank you everybody for listening in. We won't have an episode the week of WordCamp Europe because we're both gonna be there having, but I mean, we'll have coffee together, but you won't be there with
We will
us.
have a lot of conversation, a lot of coffee, but not a podcast.
Not a podcast, right? And you better believe that as soon as I see you, I will hug you with "Hello, Samah." If you're going to be at WordCamp Europe, please stop by and see us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, stop by. I don't know where we'll be. I'll be at the Do the
You
Woo
will you
booth
will see me
sometimes,
you
and
will see me running around and everyone will see you going around. Like you will
I know
catch
I'll be on my scooter. You can find me that way. We'll see you there. We will have an episode the next 2 weeks. If you have ideas of what we should talk about, please let us know. Until then, bye, Sama,
Ciao.
and bye, everybody else.
Bye.
If you're interested in using our database, joining us as a guest for an episode, or just want to say hi, go to underrepresentedintech.com. See you next week.